Hi everyone, back again with another video, another VR video, new week, and it's Automobilista 2 time. There's an update that's just got on 0.8.3.2 we're at the moment, which brings a smallish update. They've done some tweaks, and if you're looking at the video, you'll see already that I've sort of found a bug. This was meant to be a rolling start at Alton Park in a new car that they've just brought out, and you can see that the right side of the grid went off on the rolling start, and for some unknown reason the left side didn't. So a bit of a catch up to do, but this is part of the new update. It's a sort of mid drive sort of. I think it's based loosely on the Lotus Evora, and so it's a sort of a one-make championship. Sort of, you can see we're just coming up to this car on the left. There's no roof, and so it very much balances quite nicely. It's it's not too bad a car. I'm not overly massively keen on it, to be fair. It's all right, but it's not that exciting. But anyway, that's part of a new vehicle that's been added to the game. AI has also been improved as well. They've done a bit on the force feedback and the pedals and the braking system as well, and they've also given us a bit more of an update about what to expect in the future. So whilst I'm driving around playing massive catch up to the field ahead of us, as I say, on Alton Park, so we're doing the short circuit. If we look back at some previous videos, main gripe is around the braking, and I have to say that the braking's definitely improved a lot. That's not based necessarily on me adjusting things within the settings. That's the developers riser who have done that. It's still not 100%. It's still, how do I put it, unlike other games that I race on, where you literally put the pedal pretty much all the way to the floor to get full power braking. You're still having to be quite sensitive with the brakes, I've found, at the moment. So we're getting there, but just bearing in mind, people, that this is a beta version. The full game has still not been released, so what you're seeing and what you're feeling is still a long way to go. So the force feedback's not, I feel, has changed too much. It's still relatively the same, and that's good, because that's one of the best things about this game, is they've really got the force feedback working really, really well. But just bear in mind that if you do get the game, you probably do need to make some adjustments within the settings, otherwise you do find that the steering's quite heavy. So you probably want to sort of lighten it up a bit. Then that's it really. The AI is, they fight a lot more, and they're a bit more pleasing to look at. They're not all over the place. They tend to take the corners pretty much, speed wise, the same as you. There's a few little on certain tracks they're still a bit slow going into certain corners, and you can make up massive amount of time. But on the whole, they fight a lot more as well compared with my previous videos as well, so they don't get so strung out. It's still relatively all close and all bundled up. So you can see in the video that you've also got a bit further down the road a couple of cars fighting each other. And generally on the whole, they've added a few like liveries and sort of made a tiny few like minor adjustments, but nothing to the point of you're still going, wow, this is a completely brand new game. It is still obviously an ongoing thing where they are obviously picking up bugs as they go along from people who report them. It's the end of the race actually, and basically I'm just going to move on now to the Formula Ultimate, which I know I've already done a video for, but I thought this would be another good comparison to make, since I've got my previous one. We've got a bit overcast as well, rather than proper direct sunlight. You can kind of see whether or not you can see any difference in everything, but you also probably notice that I'm a lot more deeper on the brakes. There's a lot less sort of sensitivity going on, so I'm not braking. I'm braking sort of at 100-meter markers kind of thing, and not 200 markers, which is like the previous video. But anyway, really looking forward to the updates that are coming shortly, because we have things like, I know it doesn't actually mean much, and people will say to me that that's kind of irrelevant, but you can see on the video that all the advertising banners are pretty much just got Automobilista on them, or Riser. Their plan is to have full advertising on these at some point. So we've already got, like, you can see Pirelli on there and Petrobras, but their plan is to get rid of a lot of branding of their own and have proper advertising, which will make the game look even more realistic, which is something to really look forward to. Big thing for me, custom liveries. That is coming. That will allow people to generate their own. They've openly said that the liveries that are in the game at the moment are bog standard. There's nothing special about them at all. They are literally just a skin over the car with sort of, I guess, not a massive amount of effort thought through. So advertising and general sort of the graphic side of things are massively going to be improved, and also, as I say, it allows us, the members of the public, to be designing our own liveries, which we can update. Project Cars 2 only actually allowed for one custom livery per car, otherwise you had to pretty much use theirs. So it'll be quite interesting to see whether Riser will allow us to edit multiple cars. So for example, with this Formula Ultimate, can we edit all of the cars on the grid to look like, for example, a 2020 F1 grid with Red Bull and so forth, or will it only literally be the car that we can drive, which we can edit? So we'll have to see what comes of that, but that will probably most likely come in the full release, which I think has also been put back by a couple of weeks. I think they're blaming the coronavirus, I think, on that one. So we could possibly slip into June, maybe, for the full release. Certainly, maybe the end of May. Looking at their list of things that they want to put in on early access, which was released earlier this week. They want to push forward for the early access of DRS and KERS, which they hope to get in. Obviously that's going to benefit more for the Formula 1 basically versions of these cars. Nothing overly massively interesting about that, to be fair, but adds a bit more variety, I suppose, to the type of racing. They want to add 3 lots of the race series. I'll be honest, I've not heard of them. Opala stock cars from the 79 and 86 era, so it's some sort of classic. I guess it's their version of touring car. And Omega stock car from 1999. Yeah, I don't know really what they are. Obviously, being that they're a Brazilian developer, they're obviously going to aim towards that kind of market. And something called the Copa Montana. Maybe if I did some Googling, I'd know a bit more about those race series. They might be really fun to drive. I've just not heard of what they are, but I guess they're going to be more sort of touring car style racing. And we've also got 2 new tracks coming as well in the early access. They've said that it's going to be Kyalami and Estoril. My sort of response to that is meh. Kyalami, I generally don't really find it that interesting, to be fair. And Estoril, bit of a classic one, that one, but you know, back in the Formula 1 days. But it's nice to have, because you know, we don't get to use that, I suppose, on a lot of games. So it is nice to have something a bit different. So I'll give that one a shot. Certainly Estoril. But from what I remember back in the 90s and the sort of 80s, it was an alright circuit, but nothing particularly great. Then they're adding a few more kart tracks. Again, they're aimed at the Brazilian market. And then there's just going to be a lot more improvements to textures, shades. So getting the game just a bit more nicer looking, which hopefully won't cause any issues in regards to performance, because at the moment the game runs really, really well, and you don't have to have a really, really high performing PC. They want to change a few things to the cameras, and another thing that they will do is you can change your driver name, suits and helmets, and that's going to be completely fully customized, so that allows you to create, for example, a Formula 1 sort of style series, and you can put in real driver names as well. So yeah, so that, along with the car liveries as well, that's going to be really, really sort of nice to be able to feel like you've got some kind of proper game, so to speak, rather than a real fantasy kind of thing. Improvements to audio, obviously ongoing AI development as well, and yeah, that's sort of things that they've really touched on, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully looking at the footage, you know, you can see that certainly in this VR mode that we've still got a really nice looking game, and certainly I'm really enjoying these Formula 1 cars. Still finding it that it does make me a bit sick after a while, and that's just due to the how do I put this, the camera vibration. So as you're going along a straight, certainly here that the camera starts to vibrate quite massively, and that just sort of affects my motion a bit. Motion sickness sort of creeps in. But yeah, so thanks for watching. More videos to come soon, and until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.